Welcome to Midnight Story. This is story about urban legend in Indonesia. Imagine an old mansion standing at the edge of the city. At first glance, it looks abandoned, but then you see it a massive octopus statue sprawled across the rooftop, its tentacles clutching the walls like it's alive. Most call it just an urban legend, but some say it's a place that never stopped hungering. Tonight, let me take you into the story whispered from mouth to mouth for decades. This is the Octopus House. My name is Ika, a journalism student working on my final thesis. I decided to write about local urban legends, and among them all, the Octopus House on Pasteur Street in Bandung was the most notorious. It was an enormous, grey building, looming like a sleeping monster. But what made it famous was the giant octopus sculpture on its rooftops, tentacles hanging down as if trying to grab passing cars. No one really knew who owned it. Since the 80s, people claimed it was a secret cult's temple. Some swore they heard screams late at night. Others had seen women in white gowns slipping through the gate before dawn. I'd always been skeptical, but curiosity can drown out fear. According to old newspaper archives I dug up, the house was built in 1987 by a businessman named Jonathan Hamming, who once declared bankruptcy only to miraculously regain his fortune in less than a year. I met an old journalist in a smoky cafe in Dago who whispered something darker. Jonathan didn't build that place to live in. He built it as a shrine. He joined a cult that worshipped something from the deep ocean. That octopus on the roof isn't decoration, it's a guardian. In 1997, Jonathan vanished without a trace. No one sold the house, but no one officially lived there either. One cold evening, I convinced my two friends Tika, my camera woman, and Fadl, my childhood friend, to come with me for a midnight investigation. We stood before the rusty iron gates. As we touched them, the chain lock fell off by itself. Heart pounding, we stepped inside. The air was heavy, thick with the smell of decaying wood and old incense. The living room walls were covered with strange symbol circles and letters I couldn't read. On the far wall hung an abstract painting, a black octopus rising from a red ocean, surrounded by faceless people. Fadl pointed at a massive wooden door in the back. That must be the basement. A narrow staircase led down into darkness. When we reached the bottom, I felt like the air itself was trying to smother us. The basement was circular. Black tiles covered the floor. On every wall, someone had carved symbols that looked older than the house itself. In the center stood a stone altar. Lying on the altar was an old, faded photograph of a child's eyes covered with black cloth. Under it was a handwritten line. Victim number 8, date, the 11th of November, 2011. Tika burst into tears. Her voice cracked. When I was little, my aunt brought me here. She said it was a place of healing. Suddenly, the stairway vanished. In its place was just solid stone. Our flashlights flickered. From the altar came a voice deep, rasping, inhuman. Those who enter may not leave. One soul must remain. Black shadows emerged from every corner, joining into a towering shaper, man-sized figure with an octopus head, its tentacles waving slowly in the dark. Fadl's teeth chattered. That's the thing Jonathan worshipped. A tentacle brushed my cheek, cold and alive. My chest seized up. My lungs burned like they were filling with water. Just then, in the distance, the dawn call to prayer echoed from a nearby mosque. The shadows recoiled, dissolving into mist. When we awoke, we were outside the gates, but not all of us came back. Tika never spoke again. She was committed to a mental hospital, where she spent her days scratching tentacle symbols onto the walls. Fadl left the city. He told me he dreamed every night of the stone altar of the voice, calling for the next sacrifice. Me. I tried to pretend none of it happened, but every November 11th, I feel the house calling to me, and I know the truth. The ritual isn't over. 8 victims so far, but the legend says the ritual only ends when it claims 10. You may have passed that house once. Maybe you thought it was only abandoned, just another creepy old mansion. But if you ever walk past it in the dead of night, listen carefully. Sometimes you can hear footsteps in the dark. Sometimes the octopus's eyes seem to follow you. And if you dream of standing before the stone altar, don't ever say your name, because you might be the 9th sacrifice.